Mark Twain Selected Works. A Cat Tale, Part 1. My little girls, Susie, aged 8, and Clara, 6.5, often require me to help them go to sleep nights by telling them original tales. They think my tales are better than paregoric and quicker. While I talk, they make comments and ask questions, and we have a pretty good time. I thought maybe other little people might like to try one of my narcotics, so I offer this one. MT. Once there was a noble big cat, whose Christian name was Catasauqua, because she lived in that region. But she did not have any surname because she was a short-tailed cat, being a Manx, and did not need one. It is very just and becoming in a long-tailed cat to have a surname, but it would be very ostentatious, and even dishonorable, in a Manx. Well, Catasauqua had a beautiful family of catlings, and they were of different colors to harmonize with their characters. Cattaraugus, the eldest, was white, and he had high impulses and a pure heart. Catiline, the youngest, was black, and he had a self-seeking nature. His motives were nearly always base. He was truculent and insincere. He was vain and foolish, and often said he would rather be what he was and live like a bandit, yet have none above him, than be a cat of nine tails and eat with the king. He hated his harmless and unoffending little catter cousins, and frequently drove them from his presence with imprecations, and at times even resorted to violence. Susie, what are catter cousins, Papa? Quarter cousins. It is so set down in the big dictionary. You observe I refer to it every now and then. This is because I do not wish to make any mistakes, my purpose being to instruct as well as entertain. Whenever I use a word which you do not understand, speak up, and I will look and find out what it means. But do not interrupt me except for cause, for I am always excited when I am directing history, and want to get on. Well, one day Catasauqua met with a misfortune. Her house burned down. It was the very day after it had been insured for double its value, too. How singular! Yes, and how lucky. This often happens. It teaches us that mere loading a house down with insurance isn't going to save it. Very well, Catasauqua took the insurance money and built a new house, and a much better one, too. And what is more, she had money left to add a gaudy concatenation of extra improvements with. Oh, I tell you, what she didn't know about catalactics no other cat need ever try to acquire. Clara, what is catalactics, Papa? The dictionary intimates in a nebulous way that it is a sort of demi-synonym for the science commonly called political economy. Clara, thank you, Papa. Yes, behind the house she constructed a splendid large catadrome, and enclosed it with a caterwall about 9 feet high, and in the center was a spacious grass plot where— Clara, what is a catadrome, Papa? I will look. It is a race course. I thought it was a 10-pin alley. But no matter. In fact, it is all the better, for cats do not play 10 pins when they are feeling well. But they do run races, you know. And the spacious grass plot was for cat fights, and other free exhibitions, and for ball games, three-cornered cat, and all that sort of thing. A lovely spot, lovely. Yes, indeed, it had a hedge of dainty little catkins around it, and right in the center was a splendid great categorymatic in full leaf. And Susie, what is a categorymatic, Papa? I think it's a kind of a shade tree, but I'll look. No, I was mistaken. It is a word which is capable of being employed by itself as a term. Susie, thank you, Papa. Don't mention it. Yes, you see, it wasn't a shade tree. The good Catasauqua didn't know that, else she wouldn't have planted it right there in the way. You can't run over a wood like that, you know, and not cripple yourself more or less. Now, don't forget that definition. It may come handy to you someday. There's no telling. Life is full of vicissitudes. Always remember, a categorymatic is a word which a cat can use by herself as a term, but she mustn't try to use it along with another cat, for that is not the idea. Far from it. We have authority for it, you see, Mr. Webster. And he is dead, too, besides. It would be a noble good thing if his dictionary was, too. But that is too much to expect. Yes. Well, Catasauqua filled her house with internal improvements. Catcalls in every room, and they are, ever so much handier than bales, and catamounts to mount the stairs with, instead of those troublesome elevators which are always getting out of order, and civet cats in the kitchen in place of the ordinary sieves, which you can't ever sift anything with in a satisfactory way, and a couple of tidy ash cats to clean out the stove and keep it in order, and catnated on the roof, an alert and cultivated polecat to watch the flagpole and keep the banner a-flying. Ah, yes, such was Catasauqua's country residence, and she named it Kamskatka, after her dear native land far away. Clara, what is catnated, Papa? Chained, my child. The polecat was attached by a chain to some object upon the roof contiguous to the flagpole. This was to retain him in his position. Clara, thank you, Papa. The front garden was a spectacle of sublime and bewildering magnificence. A stately row of flowering catalpas stretched from the front door clear to the gate, wreathed from stem to stern with the delicate tendrils and shining scales of the cat's foot ivy, whilst ever and anon the enchanted eye wandered from congeries of lordly cattails and kindred petalous blooms too deep for utterance, only to encounter the still more entrancing vision of catnip, without number and without price, and swoon away in ecstasy unutterable, under the blissful intoxication of its too fragrant breath. Both children. Oh, how lovely! You may well say it. Few there be that shall look upon the like again. Yet was not this all. For hither to the north boiled the majestic cataract in unimaginable grandiloquence, and thither to the south sparkled the gentle Catadoop in serene and incandescent tranquillity, whilst far and near the halcyon brooklet flowed between. Both children. Oh, how sweet! What is a Catadoop, Papa? Small waterfall, my darling. Such is Webster's belief. All things being in readiness for the housewarming, the widow sent out her invitations and then proceeded with her usual avocations. For Catasauqua was a widow. Sorrow cometh to us all. The husband cat, Catullus was his name, was no more. He was of a lofty character, brave to rashness, and almost incredibly unselfish. He gave 8 of his lives for his country, reserving only 1 for himself. Yes, the banquet having been ordered, the good Catasauqua tuned up for the customary morning song, accompanying herself on the guitar, and her little ones joined in. These were the words. There was a little cat, and she caught a little rat, which she dutifully rendered to her mother, who said bake him in a pie, for his flavor's rather high, or confer him on the poor, if you'd druther. Catasauqua sang soprano, Catiline sang tenor, Cattaraugus sang bass. It was exquisite melody. It would make your hair stand right up. Susie. Why, Papa, I didn't know cats could sing. Oh, can't they, though? Well, these could. Cats are packed full of music, just as full as they can hold. And when they die, people remove it from them and sell it to the fiddle makers. Oh, yes, indeed. Such is life. Susie. Oh, here is a picture. Is it a picture of the music, Papa? Only the eye of prejudice could doubt it, my child. Susie. Did you draw it, Papa? I am indeed the author of it. Susie. How wonderful. What is a picture like this called, Papa? A work of art, my child. There. Do not hold it so close. Prop it up on the chair, 3 steps away. Now then. That's right. You see how much better and stronger the impression is than when it is close by. It is because some of this picture is drawn in perspective. Clara. Did you always know how to draw, Papa? Yes, I was born so. But, of course, I could not draw at first as well as I can now. These things require study and practice. Mere talent is not sufficient. It takes a person a long time to get so he can draw a picture like this. Clara. How long did it take you, Papa? Many years. 30 years, I reckon. Off and on, for I did not devote myself exclusively to art. Still, I have had a great deal of practice. Practice is the great thing. It accomplishes wonders. Before I was 25, I had got so I could draw a cork as well as anybody that ever was. And many a time I've drawn a blank in a lottery. Once I drew a check that wouldn't go. And after the war, I tried to draw a pension, but this was too ambitious. However, the most gifted must fail sometimes. Do you observe those things that are sticking up in this picture? They are not bones, they are paws. It is very hard to express the difference between bones and paws in a picture. Susie. Which is Cattaraugus, Papa? The little pale one that almost has the end of his mother's tail in his mouth. Susie. But, Papa, that tail is not right. You know Catasauqua was a Manx and had a short one. It is just a remark, my child, but a long tail was necessary here to express a certain passion, the passion of joy. Therefore, the insertion of a long tail is permissible. It is called a poetic license. End of Part 1.